And Jonah's like, what are you going to do, scooter over with a gallon of milk? Yeah, I would scooter over into the hood. Okay, maybe not. Hey, it's Chief Bonding with Board Games and RPGs coming back with Neuralink. The RPG having fun in the future. So, we've got our main character, Gomer, if you're following along. He's had the implant. Right now, he's still learning how to use the Neuralink implant, but he has onboard Starlink, so he can communicate just with thoughts via Starlink, his web connection, and he's got Grok 4, yes, we're into the future, on board. So he's got an artificial AI in his head, and his name's Gomer. And he's with his buddy Jonah. Jonah's a black man in his 50s that actually works at Neuralink. He's a janitor. Caught Gomer, figured out he had the uplink, but has called on Gomer for his technical expertise because someone was messing with Grandma Jenny in his hood, in his district block. They just did that. It was the La Costa Co gang. They got some great cookies from Grandma Jenny. No milk, don't get the milk. And then they went out and Jonah found these guys. Now, you got to go watch the episode if you haven't. There was a whole scooter incident. You got to go see what the scooter incident is. I'm sure it will continue to pop up. But I had a couple thoughts. So one was, does Jonah sit back? And I started thinking after the show, no. The idea had been, well, they've checked on this, they'll let it go. Nope. I figured Jonah's going to want to now go to the XRT realtors. I guess the only question could be, is it after hours? But while working with the Cities Without Numbers system, I also came up with some random NPCs, and I've got a detective, Paul Conrick. That's a very good cop, good detective, working against a corrupt system is what I have here. I didn't even know he was going to be a cop at first, but then it worked in with some of these. And I have a belief, we're not 100% sure, but there's a possibility using Mythic, the Mythic emulator, my fate chart here, that the detective's in the area and he's watching La Costa Co. And he would have seen this very odd interaction. The cops got there quick, but you had Jonah, you got Gomer, who's a fish out of water in this area. So there is a good chance that Detective Paul Conrick ends up rolling up to them as they're starting to walk themselves back out of the La Costa Co territory. What are the odds? I think they'll probably run into him sooner or later. I'm not sure it has to happen right now. I want to let the dice check, so I'm going to go with just unlikely 35%. 35 or less, the detective is Johnny on the spot. 72, so no, he does not make an appearance yet as I hit the dice again. So let me make a note here, just not yet. But I think on their way back to the scooters, Gomer says, when we start off this time, make sure you're stable. And before he can finish, Jonah's like, shut it. Shut it. Well, you don't need to take another tumble, Jonah. You won't even be able to work. And he goes, close your mouth. My hip hurts bad enough. I don't care if my knuckles hurt. I think Gomer's like, oh, hey, we didn't need to go down that road. But Jonah says, while we're out and about, Grandma Jenny gave me the card from the XRT realtors. And I think we should at least go pay them a visit. They're at a strip mall that's not too far away. Got it. I think that's a done deal. A strip mall. Not normally, I mean, I guess you'd have realtors at a strip mall, but it's not too far away. Seems like, well, we'll see. Seems like something that would have popped up a month ago. Rent the location, create a name, pop them in. So they're going to go check this on the way back. Jonah doesn't want to sit on his heels if somebody's messing with Grandma Jenny. I think, oh, and the chaos factor 6. I messed that up last time, so we're going to leave it as 6, although everything's going so well. I almost brought it down, but we'll leave 6 up just so I can experience on this one. That means things are going to be a little more chaotic, a little bit more leaning towards the yeses on this. All right, so Number one, does anything interrupt or alter our scene? 4. That's going to be a yes. So an even number is an interrupt. So while we're headed to this strip mall, something is going to interrupt us. We're supposed to use logic here. What would interrupt us? It could be another fall. That doesn't seem as good, though. I already rolled that there's no Detective Paul Conrick, so I don't want to say it's Paul Conrick. I don't know what it would be. So let's just roll under action and subject. We'll go random here. 55, doubles don't matter here. So 55 is disrupt. All right, disrupt what? We can roll 3 pairs here if we need answers. 51 is jealousy. Disrupt jealousy. Well, I don't know what we're jealous of, but what would we be disrupting? I don't know. I'm going to have to roll again. We'll see. This is an interrupt. 97, transform. 51. 51 is jealousy again. Wow. Okay. So when you get it twice, it means heavy emphasis. So there is jealousy going on. And it's disrupt and it's transform. Well, the only thing I can think of, especially down in this area, because we already know this is Jonah's hood, is Jonah's got to have a lady friend. And maybe she's wondering what in the heck you're doing rolling around on a scooter with this Gomer guy. Disrupt and transform, jealousy times 2. All right, maybe Jonah was supposed to be spending time with his lady friend, but he didn't call, didn't show, and now he's seen rolling around on a scooter. Yeah, not very Jonah-like. So what would be disrupt and transform? She comes screeching up. Who is she? I don't know. We're going to roll here in a little bit, but all of a sudden, it's got to be a Dodge Neon, just a little 4-door car, comes screeching up, cuts off onto either the lane for bicycles in the street, or maybe even, I think it's got to be even better than that, up onto the curb and cuts off the scooter crew, causing Jonah to almost fall over again. I think Gomer is like, what the hell? What the hell? And who gets out? Who in the world gets out? I've got a list of some female names here that were going to be for XRT Realtor. One of them is going to come off because one of them is going to be this girlfriend, maybe? 1, Marja. All right, so Marja will not be XRT. Marja is Jonas's, I don't know if girlfriend's right. Marja, we'll call her lady friend. All right. And this already tells me we know disrupt and transform. She's pissed. I think she rolls up, cuts them off. You got Gomer saying, what the hell? And Marja pops out. You don't call me, and then you're out here scooting around with, there's got to be more names here. It's got to be another bad name. Puffball with this puffball on a scooter. He's not that, Gomer's like, I'm not that fat. What, marshmallow? Puffball, I'm just a little bit out of shape. I like it. I like it. She calls him Puffball. Puffball, and she's like, who in the hell are you? And Jonah, what are you doing with the Puffball? Oh, Marja. And Gomer's like, Marja? Marja? And she's like, yeah, zip it, Puff. She's pissed. She looks angry. I think Gomer's like, Grandma Jenny called. Some of the La Costa Co. Peto, in fact, threatened her. And she's like, no. He's like, yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot all about you. And she's like, well, no shit. Rough. He's like, my bad. I work with Gomer. He checked the computer stuff and found out that XRT, a realtor agency, is buying up property down here. And when Grandma Jenny didn't go for it, all of a sudden La Costa Co's running around telling her she better sell. And she says she ain't going nowhere. I brought Gomer down here, and he even got cookies from her and milk. She's like, you took the milk? He's like, I didn't know she offered milk. I didn't know. God dang. You people don't drink milk? He said, you people? Yeah, there's Jonah. What do you mean, you people? I just mean you guys. He's like, yeah, what? Hey, watch the you people stuff. Perfect. Puffball. I think Jonah even says puffball. Yeah, there we go. Puffball is, I'm putting it right on here. That's the new nickname. Puffball. Boom. He's got a nickname now for Marja. But here's the cool thing. Jonah's not one to see a reason to get off the darn. He's not going to let it go that he no longer needs the damn scooter. I think Jonah looking around at like, Marja's got her neon. We don't need the scooters anymore. He real quick says, Marja, you got to help us out. Hey, Puffball, park the scooters. He goes, again, we've already paid. I got it for another 15 minutes. We can get I'm not riding a scooter anymore. I already threw a hip. She's like, you got hurt, baby? He's like, yeah. You think I can ride these scooters? She goes, nah, it ain't for style. He's like, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. And she's like, well, where are we going? He goes, we're going to XRT Realtors over at the strip mall off of Kensington. All right, now we know it's off Kensington. Hold on. Wait a minute. She's like, get in. They just park the scooters, get in. She gets off the curb. I don't think anybody comes around. I think Gomer gets in the back, Puffball, and off they go now, in at least a car, to XRT Realtors. Interesting. We got Marja, who's a little bit of transform and disrupt with a bunch of jealousy. Boom. Another new character. As we show up at the Realtors, brand new scene. Is anything interrupting again as we get there? I want to know. 2. Man, we got another interrupt. What are we running into in the parking lot? What are we running into in the parking lot? Hold on. I got an idea. What if as we get into the parking lot, or even as we get close in the parking lot, sits some of La Costa Co. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that. Because it's after hours anyway. Ooh, here's what's going on. I think some gal in a nice business suit walks out, hands a piece of paper over to one of the La Costa Co's, and off they go. Ooh, that's exactly what they see. Hold on. So, as Marja's turning the corner and the strip mall's in view, Jonah quickly says, pull the curb, pull the curb. And without batting an eye, Marja pulls over to the curb and is just sitting idly. And I think Gomer's like, what? Are we there? He's like, no. And it's going to be who? Well, it's got to be Pato. Yeah, that's it. He goes, that's Pato in the parking lot. And look at this. The gal in a business suit is handing him off a piece of paper. Oh, shit. So right here now is the connection between La Costa Co. and XRT Realtors. They're in cahoots. It was already kind of suspected something was there, but that's what's seen. So the question is, well, you got to go with Pato. You got to jack with Pato because he's got the paper. What's on the paper? That's it. So, oh yeah, Jonah's like, Marja, stay with Pato. I want to see what's the piece of paper he just got. Perfect. Wow, love it. All right. Well, this will be conflict coming. So, they watch whoever the woman is, nicely dressed, gets in a nice car or a fairly nice car and drives away. As Pato gets about a block off, so he's about a block away, but he's not fully back to what would be his part of the hood yet, Marja rolls up and cuts him off, same way she cut off Jonah and Puffball. That's good. She cuts him off on the passenger side, so Jonah's out fast. I think Gomer's still in the car, and I don't think he's getting out. He didn't even fully realize. I think he's still processing what's going on. This is it. Jonah wants to move with surprise. So under the Maze Rats rules, I'm going to give him advantage on this action. It's going to be a strength move. He's simply going to grab Peto, who's, I'm going to be honest with you, being part of the Costico, even though he's not in the smack dab of his hood, he's not used to being manhandled either. But Jonah is street smart. He's 50, but he's still strong, and he knows one-on-one, snatch onto him quick. So how does this go, though? You got to assume Peto's got a weapon on him. I've got a list for weapons here in a second, but we've got the surprise factor here. Neon, dodge Neon, cutting him off, and Jonah jumping out and snatching him up. But we've got to get at least a 10 for success on this. Now, he does have a strength of 2, so we're adding 2 to it. And advantage means roll 3d6, take the high 2 numbers. Woo, not so good. 5 and a 2 and a 1. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not a 10. So what I like to do on this is it could be, instead of a total fail, especially with higher number here being so close, maybe it's a bit of a scuffle a little bit. I like it. So it could be a success with consequences rather than just a clean success. That's good, which means we're going to roll on my chart here to see Peto goes for a weapon. What does Peto have? So, fists, number 1, knife, brass knuckles, handgun, sawed-off shotgun, which could be concealed, or a rifle. And when I say rifle, I mean like this AR-15 with the short barrel. They do it almost as a pistol, but it's still an AR-15. 4, not good at all. He's got a handgun. Wow. Okay. So as Jonah starts to manhandle him, Peto reaches into his waistband and starts to pull. So he's pulling out a handgun. Now, we had success with consequences. I think this simply means as the handgun starts to clear, I think Jonah's got another chance of getting a hold of him. Because we had, well, it's success with consequences. So let's just put that he's able to lock on and hold his hand. And I don't picture Peto being big. I picture him being young and kind of scrawny. So the gun is out. And I said it's success with consequences. I think there's no disarming here, but Jonah locks that hand in place and keeps that barrel down and says, "Don't be stupid." Okay? I would imagine you can't quickly get that gun free, and it's in a safe location. About the only thing he could do is rip a round off, even though it's going to go right into the pavement. That would be kind of wild, but we know he's angry. I'm going to go with no way does he shoot a round, because he can still pull the trigger. 15 or less, 33, doubles. So we do have to do a random event as well. So the random event can be related to this, or it can be something totally separate. No rounds fired off. We're at this tense moment where it's a success with consequences. The gun is out of the waistband. It's locked in. But what would be the consequences other than the gun being present? Let's see what this random event is. So we got to do a random event focus, percentile dice. 62 is a PC negative. Wow, this isn't good at all. So a PC negative. Well, to me, I don't even need to roll on this. It's got to be that he's got help somewhere, that Peto isn't alone. That would be the only thing that would work against us here. So success with consequences is that Jonah's got that hand tied up with the gun, but there is another guy with Pato from the gang. And I've got a name here, or maybe it's even a gal. So La Coast to Coast, 6-sided die. 3, a guy named Hector. Okay, we got Hector coming in. That's not good. We got guys and girls on the list, but what is Hector? What's his personality type? 4, he's real slick. Well, that's might play good. This would be a bad place to have shots fired. I assume he's got a weapon, even if it's just his fist. 3, he's got some brass knuckles. Okay. Okay. Well, first question, gang style. Does he just come in and punch Jonas? 50-50, and we're working at a chaos factor of 6, which means that's 65 or less, and I just rolled the last one on the wrong chart. Anybody that caught that? My bad, I probably put a note up. Chaos factor 6, 50-50 means it's now 65% chance he's just going to strike him with these brass knuckles. 16, that's, 13 would have been a hard yes. So it's simply a yes. Brass knuckles are brutal though. It'll pretty much break your jaw, knock you out. Jonas is going to have a rough time here. So, bam, brass knuckles come in. I've got to know how serious is this injury. I'm just going to do 10-sided die, 1 being less serious, 10 unconscious. Oh, 10, god dang. All right, so Jonas is knocked unconscious. That might not be a bad way to go with the gun being in play here. So Jonah, I keep calling him Jonas. Jonah is knocked unconscious. Okay, we got Puffball. Gomer is hanging out in the neon. Marja's in the neon. It turned against Jonah really fast. With him being out, I think the hand clearly sags off, and I think Pato points the gun at Marja. And maybe even looking inside in the back, seeing Gomer in there. Yes, no shots have been fired. I think Marja's hands are up. Gomer's hands are up. Simple question. Does Detective Paul Conrick show up now? Maybe he was surveilling XRT. Ooh. Let's go 50-50 on that as well. But this is 65% chance with a chaos factor of 6. 65 or less. 59. Wow. We have Pato with his gun out. He could just shoot him. I don't think Paul would do that or Detective Conrick would do that. And he's going to have the drop on Pato right now. I think he'll give him that one shot. Yeah, there's no doubt. So from a different angle that nobody's been paying to, Marja coming up, the knocking out of Jonas, all of a sudden you got Detective Paul Conrick in like just, I'm picturing almost like trench coat kind of thing, almost like a Deckard kind of style, just that gritty street detective. And Conrick, for his personality, strength, cunning, plans with backup plans. Incorruptible. Okay. I think he simply calls Pato by name. Pato, if you don't drop the gun, I'll kill you on the spot. That's it. And I think Pato kind of freezes a little bit. And I have no doubt that Hector is like, looks over and says, it's Conrick. And Pato is like, slides his gun hand down. He realizes there's no way he could turn and get a shot off even if he wanted to. He's like, and Conrick's like, drop it, Pato. And the gun drops. He's like, man, this guy attacked me. Yes. Yes, he did. I think Conrick says, kick the gun my way. And he kicks it, which is more of a sliding move. Guns don't just go off when you kick them and they're sliding around. And then he's like, Hector, throw the brass knuckles over here. Clang, clang, clang. Face down on the ground, both of you, face down. They're face down, and you can hear Conrick on the radio. Plans inside plans. Squad car comes around the corner with a little boop, boop, beep, beep. I don't know why. Squad cars are always kind of, using their little air horn siren thing. Rolls up. Two officers in uniform get out. They immediately, he's like, both of these into custody. I've got the brass knuckles. I witnessed him knock this pedestrian out. And I think Hector's like, pedestrian? He attacked Pato. And then he's like, and Pato, I want 2 charges on him for aggravated assault. He had his gun on both these individuals in this neon. And the officers hook, gather up the evidence, get the names of everybody involved. That takes a little bit of time, and an ambulance has shown up to check on Jonas, who's got a hell of a crack on his head. He's got a lump there. It bled a lot. It's all over his shirt. They've given him a little bit of an ice pack. No trip to the hospital. But Conrick says, move on down to the coffee shop. All right, now we got a coffee shop. Didn't know we were going to have a coffee shop. All right, so moving to the coffee shop. Connie's Coffee Palace. Got it. Connie's Coffee Palace. All right. Old style booths. You know, the booths with the Formica tabletop, the faux leather. Gomer slides in. Conrick slides in next to him. Jonah across from Conrick, and Marge off to the side. And of course, Connie is serving as well. This is like Connie's place. So Connie comes up, knows Conrick. This is where he hangs out. He does a lot of work at Connie's Coffee Palace. Comes in with the coffee and says, hey, honey, to Marja, you want any? And he goes, yeah, it'll be on me. And she says, sure. I think Jonah's still got his ice pack on. And she's like, well, you've seen nicer days. I'm going to get you a little bit of my little crumble coffee cake. She goes, it's not going to fix that, but it tastes damn good. And he's like, yeah, okay. Lots of butter on it. He's like, do it. And then Gomer's like, hey, I might want one of those too. And I think they just kind of look at him like, yeah, okay. And she's like, well, sure, honey, you can have one too. So they're all going to get some of Connie's crumbled coffee cake. Got to write it down. Dang, I want some. I like a good coffee cake. Conrick's just got to be perplexed. I think he's decamped from the street. Not a great place to have a conversation. In Connie's, much better. Not too many people around. And he's like, Jonah, what in the world are you doing messing with La Costico? And Jonah's real quick, they're messing with Grandma Jenny. And he says, oh, I know. And the rest of the block. And he's like, yeah, but I ain't having it with Grandma Jenny. And there must be some past contacts between them. It feels like they know each other. Conrick says, yeah, but the question is, what brought you to XRT? And Jonah says, puffball. He's like, hey, it's Gomer. And I think Conrick's like, Gomer, how do you know Jonah? He's like, we work together, Neuralink. He's like, okay. I did some research. I found out XRT was buying up a ton of property around here, even though the crime is going up. And Grandma Jenny had a card for the strip mall. And then Jonah's like, he took milk from Grandma Jenny. He's like, dude, you don't take the milk, you just eat the cookies. He's like, that's what everybody keeps saying. She offered the milk. Marcia's like, yeah, he took the milk. She's on a fixed budget. This is from Conrick. He's getting it from 3 ways. He's like, I'll buy her a gallon of milk. I had no idea. She won't accept it. You can't show up to Grandma Jenny's with a gallon of milk. She's going to want to know why you think she needs a gallon of milk. You can't do it. Just don't take it. He's like, where are all these rules? Why wouldn't she take the milk if I offered her the milk? He goes, it's the principle. The principle? And then Jonah's like, what are you going to do? Scoot her over with a gallon of milk? Yeah, I would scoot her over into the hood. Okay, maybe not. That's what I thought. That's what I thought, Puffball. This is exactly how this would go. 100%. I'm telling you, I'm having a ball. I love it. All right, to get back on track, Conrick's like, got it. Okay, so research dude finds XRT, and you snatch up pedo? He goes, well, you had to be sitting off of him as well. What paper did she give him? And he goes, you mean this one? He's like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. He goes, oh yeah, the officers gave it to me as they were taking him down for booking. And he opens it up and says, well, look at this. This is a list of the folks that are still holdouts. Grandma Jenny, right there. And sure enough, there's a list of these addresses and the folks that haven't agreed to sell. A couple of them got little stars next to them and the word a little push. It's like, well, son of a bitch. And I think Jonah's like, what in the heck would a realtor place be doing working with La Costa Co? He goes, well, they're trying to buy that block up. The only way you can do it is if you can get them all bought out. And he's like, these dirty bastards. He's like, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. You're never going to learn all the details from La Costa Co. But I couldn't believe when I found this company even operating over here. I'm like, something isn't right. And nobody's messing with them. Nobody. She's driving a beautiful little Beamer over here. Not a touch. Well, guess who's overwatching? Pedo. All right, so we've got the piece of paper. We've definitely got XRT working with La Costa Co. to pressure people out of their place. I think Conrick's deal would be, Jonah, you probably about got yourself killed. And Marja, and Puffball. I know you're trying to help out Grandma Jenny, but it's going to get messy. Now, Conrick's all about plans inside plans. But I think he then changes. Instead of saying Puffball, he's like, Gomer, I want to talk to you some more. And Jonah, if you can relay to me what Grandma Jenny's saying, I will be able to start applying some pressure to La Costa Co. But Gomer, can you use your access and apparent expertise to dig into XRT realtors? And he's like, absolutely. Scene. All right, so when we come back, we've got Detective Conrick linked up with this crew, kind of telling him to back off a little bit, but to have Gomer do the work in the background. All right, when we return, that work will be done. We'll open up with him. What research does he find on XRT? And I just want to go out on a limb and say, I think Gomer's thinking about another implant. And if he can get into his visual cortex, he'll be able to augment visual spectrums and even include a heads-up display. I've been thinking about it. He's got his in the hand knob area right now, so that he can operate mouse like keyboard mentally and work with Grok AI. He wants visual cortex. So when we come back, we're going to both do follow-up XRT and a second Neuralink. He's got the tools, he's got the equipment, he's got the machines. He wants the visual cortex. What he does need is probably for Jonah to make his apartment a little cleaner. I like it. That's it. All right, then we'll have to know, we'll learn more about Detective Conrick as we go. Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs. Neuralink, having fun in the future, baby. See ya. Bye.